Today, we're going to talk about Jaws. You know that movie? The one that made an entire generation of people very reluctant swimmers. Where any little shadow would send you scampering right back to the beach. Well, it's been 50 years since Spielberg's mechanical shark that they knew as Bruce scared the heebie-jeebies out of the residents of Amity Island and the rest of us. Sure, Jaws got many things wrong, and lots of people have piled in and pointed all of those out. But here's the twist. Jaws actually got quite a lot right. Some of which was only discovered 15, 20 years later. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 things that Jaws got exactly spot on. Plus, a few behind the scenes stories that you may not have heard about. So stay tuned. So, to start off with, let's talk about the first big one. Literally the big one. The size of Jaws. Now, in the movie, Jaws was billed as a 25-foot monster. That's around 8 meters. Alright, so yes, that is a little bit of a Hollywood flex. But if you go back to Peter Benchley's original novel, Jaws, the shark he wrote about was only 21 foot. That's about 6.2, 6.4 meters. Now, again, this is a massive, massive shark. But here's the thing. This is well within the size range of today's great white sharks. Let's take Deep Blue, a famous great white shark first spotted by Mauricio Hoyers at Guadalupe Island. This shark was estimated at around 21 foot, the same size as Peter Benchley's shark. Also, if you look at the shark that Ocean Ramsey swam with back in around 2013, another giant great white shark spotted off Hawaii, over 20 foot long. If you go further back into the scientific records, caught specimens were measured or estimated from their tooth size and fin size, and a number of these sharks were well up within that range of 20, 21 plus feet. So, although the Hollywood movie put on a bit of that flex, Peter Benchley was spot on. Next, let's talk about what is considered probably one of the most terrifying scenes in the movie, and the opening scene of the movie. That's when the teenage girl goes for a midnight swim and gets attacked by Jaws. So, to set the scene, there's a bonfire, there's a party, the kids are drinking, smoking, doing what they do, and boy and girl slip off to go on for a swim. She swims out, the guy's sort of drunk on the beach. And pretty typical. And obviously the music, the famous music cue, da 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 da, and next thing you know, she's taken out. She's taken. This happened late at night, well after sunset. For many years, people, scientists, did not think great white sharks hunted at night time. That their interest was primarily, or their ability was focused on morning, dawn, and dusk. 2007, when I was doing my research at Mossel Bay, I was tracking a great white shark, and we used to track these sharks for hours, 100 hours. Nighttime, I was following it around the sea line, and bang, boom, it takes out a seal 2-3 hours after nighttime, proving that great white sharks, even though their eyes were designed for daytime vision, can still pick up a silhouette of prey at the surface in the nighttime. So, again, Jaws, movies, maybe not intentionally, but they got it spot on. Great white sharks are capable of hunting at night time. So, 2, it's the second one for Jaws. Here's one that's part filmmaking legend and part scientific accuracy. Now, originally, when Spielberg and the team built this mechanical monster called Bruce, they wanted to feature it throughout most of the movie. They've spent a lot of money building this thing. They want to get their money's worth. But here's the thing. When you start mixing mechanics and robots and all that stuff with salt water, come together, you get disaster. And that's exactly what happened. Bruce was a massive failure. You stick him in the water, flip upside down, sparks would be going off, it would be doing its own thing. One of them flipped over, sank to the bottom, one of the 3 versions they made. And most of the time it actually just sort of sat there not working, like a dead shark. So, what did Spielberg do? He took his radical approach. He pivoted to suspense. And that was knowing the shark was there, but not seeing it. And this proved many times more frightening and scary than if you would in fact see the shark all the time. Now, why do I say Jaws got it spot on with this? It's because great white sharks rely on camouflage, stealth, ambush to be successful predators. If prey see them before they attack, most of the time the prey can outmaneuver, avoid the shark. A lot of the times in that situation, the shark won't even attempt predation because it knows the game is up. So Jaws, again, 3 points, you got it spot on. Jaws shouldn't be seen, and he wasn't seen a lot because that is how great white sharks are successful when they hunt. Although Peter Benchley, the author of Jaws, denies it, most people believe that Jaws was inspired by the Jersey Shore shark attacks of 1916, a spate of shark attacks that put America in a panic. This was because there were 6 attacks in a period of less than 2 weeks. The media declared rogue shark man-eater on the loose. People stopped swimming, beaches were closed, and mobs of angry fishermen sort of formed up vigilante groups to go out and find and kill this man-eater that was lurking in the water. Does this sound familiar? It should, because Jaws got it exactly right in terms of how they captured public fear and this whole revenge mentality that the people of Amity, as well as the people of America, went towards sharks after the spate of attacks. And it wasn't just America. In South Africa, during the 1950s, a spate of over 12 attacks in less than a month, called Black December, caused a huge uproar and panic in the entire community. So much so that the government formed an organisation called the Natal Sharks Board. And this Sharks Board placed bather protection or shark nets along the entire coast of Durban. Shark nets that stay there till today, 70 years later. So, whether you believe in the whole rogue shark theory or not, Jaws nailed it in terms of the public panic that follows a spate of shark attacks. Oh, and if you're a Shark Week fan, and I know there's probably a lot of you out there, make sure you tune in on the 25th of July. My new documentary, Great White Reign of Terror, is premiering live. Can't tell you too much about it, you have to tune in and watch it, but it is about great white sharks in South Africa and what happens when they start turning up on beaches that haven't seen great white sharks for decades. So, let me know what you think about that once you've watched it. Finally, let's talk about that iconic scene where the scientist Hooper bravely, or some would say stupidly, decides to get into a shark cage, descend into the water to place a tracking tag onto Jaws. Now, Spielberg knew that the diva mechanical robot shark Bruce wouldn't cut it, wouldn't look convincing enough. So he came up with a cunning plan. Let's go to Australia and work with the famed sharkologists, with the shark scientists, shark wranglers, Ron and Valerie Taylor. The problem was, in Australia, the sharks that these guys work with was only 13, 14 foot long, far smaller than the 25 foot Jaws of the movie. How they got around this, they made a miniature half-size cage and they hired a stuntman who was very small in stature, about 4'6", I believe. That small unit would make the sharks look a lot bigger. Great plan, they set out, went out to sea, sharks coming around, filming, put the cage in the water, start filming, and lo and behold, pretty much straight away, a great white shark busts into the top of the cage and sets about absolutely destroying it. Finally, the shark breaks free, comes off, they pull the cage out, things are wrecked, they go, what do we do? They patch it up, get ready to start filming again. Now, somebody decides to look around for the stuntman, and he's nowhere to be seen. He's gone AWOL. I think it's 2 hours later of searching, they finally find him drunk in the anchor hatch, hidden amongst all the ropes, drinking and saying, I quit, I'm never going to get in that cage. Done, it's not going to happen. So anyway, don't blame him. I digress. What they got just right in the movie is that Jaws was always billed as a female shark in the novel and in the movie. She was female. And for the most part, when the live sharks are on the screen in Jaws the movie, it is a female shark. They got the right gender. I don't know if they got that intentionally. I suspect not, but they did get it right for the most part. That was until they started showing a male shark halfway through the scene. So Hollywood got it 50% right, and that's probably 50% more than they usually get right. So, half points for them on that one. So, as we gear up for Shark Week 2025 and celebrate 50 years since Jaws was first released, let's tip our hat to an incredible movie. Yes, Jaws got a heck of a lot of things wrong about great white sharks, but as I've spoken about now, it also did get a few things spot on.